Let's get right to the Wray
Thank
hearings. Overall reaction.
He was trying to deflect and obfuscate what his answers, protect his institution, but the reality is there are things he just simply could not deny. And so even when he denied, we were able to demonstrate that he wasn't telling the truth. So it was. I thought it was particularly damaging to the FBI and also to Director Wray's credibility, which is, quite frankly, too bad in our constitutional republic. We need to be able to trust our institutions, and we can't trust the FBI anymore, certainly at the highest levels.
So I guess, Congressman, my question is, interesting hearing. Got a lot of great sound bites from Republicans that they can run in campaign ads. Yay. But let me just ask you something. What was the objective of that?
Well, for me, there's like four objectives for it. Number one, not everybody is in tune like you are and your audience is. So we have to continually raise the narrative, get the communication out there. People who follow this, they understand that this has been going on for some time, but not everybody's there. Number two, we have to convince the rest of Congress, at least on the Republican side, that there is a real problem that requires action. So that leads to number three, some concrete actions. The Holman Rule. We need to reorganize the FBI, and we need to remove some of the top leaders in the FBI who continue with this same culture that's there. And so that the Holman Rule would allow us to do that. And then the fourth one is we've got to get people to agree with us to stop funding their new headquarters. We need them to agree that we need to redirect funding to places where federal law enforcement actually is good and helpful, and away from the places where they're abusing American citizens. So, I mean, those are four objectives that I think were important about yesterday's hearing.
Were any of them met in your judgment?
First thing was, I think the narrative that was met. I mean, that there's a lot of information that came out yesterday that he could not refute, and I think it showed him dissembling, which I think was important. Only time's going to tell here. We're in the budget season. If the rest of my colleagues are going to be willing to deal with us on the Holman Rule as well as on the budgeting aspects of the FBI. So hopefully in the next couple months we'll see the fruit of the action from yesterday.
So Wray answered no questions, right? He basically defrayed everything. The lack of accountability was stunning. Many times he said he didn't know who was in charge of something or how many people, like simple thing, how many undercover agents were there in J6, he didn't know. But there was no follow-up question to, like, well, who does know? What's his or her name? So that we can subpoena them like this afternoon and get the number and find out what the thinking was behind that. Same with the Catholic churches in Richmond. Same with the school board harassment. So I guess my question is, where do we go?
Investigation, Ray Epps investigation.
The pipe bomb. I mean, let's get to that. You have a video where the guy with the pipe bomb in a backpack goes by the FBI, goes right back. What was the deal with that? What was your reaction to that?
Well, all of this stuff, we knew what he was going to say, I suppose. I mean, he was just deflecting. I mean, what really needed to be got into, you just don't have to. The format doesn't give us the opportunity to really get into this. We tried to change the format and we couldn't. But you wanted to ask him, is it true that you prevented FBI agents on the team investigating the pipe bomb from actually interviewing the guy who they suspected of laying the pipe bomb? And he would not have answered that as well. So it was just the same as all things. I mean, he's deflecting. So when I'm asking him about people being present undercover in the Capitol on J6, and he says, "Well, we didn't have any agents." Well, he's trying to basically skirt that. The reality is he had to basically defer the answer, deflect the answer when I said, "Well, what about assets? Confidential human sources that you might have had there, or or any other contractors, or whatever." And he's like, "Well, we don't know. I don't know." The reality is, evidence has been adduced that they were there, and he is not telling us the truth. And until we can actually bring in affidavits and sworn testimony contradicting him, then we can't impose a contempt citation on him.